What's going on all you gamers? Here we are back with some more Aliens Fireteam Elite, and today I'm going to be going over a really nice build for the Gunner class. I was about to say soldier, but the Gunner class. So if you want to do some damage and you want to be an absolute boss killing beast, then stay tuned, that's coming up next. Welcome back all you guys and girls, as always for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, all the latest and greatest hints, tips, guides and builds, and just some fun gameplay and reviews of the upcoming games, then why not hit that subscribe and bell icon. But for today I'm here to show you my build for this fella right here, the Gunner class. And I really enjoyed making this one, and I feel it really shines at all levels of the game. It does have a few perks in it that are probably a little bit more late game because you do have to have unlocked them through other people's skill trees, but I'd say this guy right here, if you need someone to nuke a target, single target damage, and just have a lot of fun with, this is the guy for you. But what I'm going to do, just so that you know what he's all about, I'm going to chuck on a little bit of gameplay footage and then I'm going to jump over to the build afterwards, and obviously if you like what you see, you can join me there. Right, so hopefully from that you can see that this guy is an absolute beast. He's a lot of fun to play, and I would say very possibly the core of any team. I've said it before in a few other videos, the Gunner class is very hard to not have in a team for later game, and that's just because of how much damage they bring to the table with their overclock move, and how much they actually bring with their own firepower. They are a class to be reckoned with, and for single targets taking on those really tougher enemies, you really don't want to be without these guys for late stages. Right, so jumping over to our weapon, and the Kramer assault rifle is a gun to be reckoned with. This right here is an absolute beast. It feels really sturdy, it feels really meaty as you fire, and I really enjoy playing with this weapon. As you can see with the attachments we've got on it, the accuracy is not bad at 75, the stability is 82, and the one thing I really like about this gun is the damage, 207 per bullet. The fire rate is not too bad, it's not as fast as some of the others, but it is nice and chunky, and it's got a weak point damage of 210. With a magazine size of again 48 with the attachments and such we've got on. This is really nice and not bad all round. If you're after getting quite a few headshots because you're able to aim where you want to, this will do the job. It's not going to be a headshot king because you will definitely still miss some. The bullet pattern is a little bit hit and miss sometimes, but overall if you're trying to mow down your enemies you can do a lot worse than the Kramer because of how hard it hits and because it's quite fun and has a lot of stumble chance, meaning your enemies are going to be falling all over the place and may well not even make it to you. Jumping over to the attachments, and I've got the boosted flash hider. This gives an effective range of 25% and 40% weak point damage for 5 seconds on the kill. This effect does not stack. Now this one I've only just started using, but I really enjoy it because what I was finding, I've been using this mainly to mow down the smaller enemies. If I needed those bigger enemies taken down, I was chucking over to my secondary. Try this, let me know what you think. If you don't enjoy this and you want the initial damage, you're probably going to chuck it straight over to probably this one just over here, the precision break. This will give you weak point damage of 20% and effective range of 30%. Or this one just here, pretty much exactly the same, weak point damage but with a bit of handling and stability on shot that stacks up to 5 times. These are the 3 I'd recommend. I was finding that I was mowing down a lot of fodder and getting a lot of weak point damage extra on the next one, so this worked out really well with this weapon and playstyle that I was using it in. Jumping over to the magazine, and we've picked the drum magazine. Now I definitely think this is one you'll want to have. It gives you magazine capacity plus 20, max ammo plus 20 and 25 reload speed when the magazine is empty, meaning just chunk out that damage, don't worry about reloading too much, wait till it's finished. But the reason you want this, at late game difficulties, ammo can be an absolute nightmare. Having extra ammo and having extra mag capacity really can help, especially if you're taking down those medium enemies. Jumping over to the last one, and again I've only just started using this one. If you hate this, change it off. This will definitely not be for everyone. The reason I've put this on, it's got a nice chunk of accuracy, it's got a little bit of effective range. Yeah, looking at the graph you don't really need effective range with this, but I found it helped a tad. But the main reason is you get plus 10% damage and minus 10% fire rate while standing still. If I stood still, I was getting a little bit chunkier damage and I was making sure that I was hitting everything, even if it wasn't a headshot. If you're not the most accurate, if you don't think you're going to be getting all of those weak point damage tallying up, this may be one you want to invest in. If however you think you're able to keep it on target and get a lot of headshots, then swiftly swap it over to either this one here for the biggest damage, the hybrid sights, accuracy plus 30 and weak point plus 20, or just down here if you want a bit of scope magnification, which I really enjoy using just for the playstyle, is micro red dot sight, weak point damage 15, handling 15 and zoom magnification. Now like I said, I've been trying this one and I've really enjoyed it because I'm not able to hit all of those headshots with this. It does have a bit of a weird spray pattern sometimes and it does have a bit of kick on it, so I found this really nice and effective in this build. Lastly, jumping over to the perks, like I said, a bit of a niche one this, quite fun to use and not many guns come with this. So this has 5 stumble chance, 5% stumble chance, 5% weak point damage, which is just great. That's the same as some of the later ones, like the last perks on some weapons, so that's absolutely amazing. And last, 1% stumble chance and weak point damage on hit, and can stack up to 5 times, resets on reload. Again, like I said, empty the whole of your drum. Don't worry too much. Don't be reloading like I do every kind of 2 seconds, which you've got to get used to. Just empty it all the way out. You've got a faster reload and you're able to make sure you've got that up for more time. Really nice. I found all around this was just a great weapon to use in all of those situations when there's hordes of enemies coming towards you. Jumping over to our CQW or close quarter weapon slot, and we've got the M37A3 pump shotgun. This is still just the daddy of close range weapons. It is amazing. It's my favourite to use in almost all situations and just a lot of fun and some ridiculous damage on those bigger targets. Now, if you'll have a little look down here, the damage is 182, but that's per pellet, and we've got 13 pellets, so there's a lot of damage tallying up if you're able to hit everything. The weak point damage, we've boosted it up to 190 with our attachments, and the magazine is at 8. If I could have that a bit more, I probably would. It would work out definitely in our favour, but the attachments I've used don't allow for that, unfortunately. Coming over to the attachments, and we've got the vent brake medium muzzle. Weak point damage 20%, plus 5% handling and stability on shot, and this effect stacks 5 times and resets on reload. Again, really nice. That last bit just helps us out a little bit for targeting those big dudes, but the main thing we're after is the weak point damage. And just over here we've got field reserves. This one gives us reload speed plus 30% and max ammo plus 30%. I would honestly say, if you can, especially if you're doing those late game difficulties, you could probably get away with using any of the others if it's on probably anything under intense or maybe even intense, but anything after that it becomes a bit ammo hungry. The same as everything, try and get as much max ammo as you can when possible, unless you've got a recon on your team. Next over, and we've got hybrid sight, accuracy plus 30% and weak point damage 20%. Again, this just helps us hit our target, it helps us absolutely nuke the bigger enemies, and it gives us that chunk of weak point damage, exactly what we're after. Coming down to the perks, and it's got 5% reload time, 1 bonus projectile, which is really nice because the more we've got hitting those enemies, even better. And finally, enemies take an additional 0.36 damage on hit for 5 seconds. This effect stacks per projectile that hits and stacks up to 13 times. Beast mode, just make sure you're hitting those targets, make sure you're getting a bit of accuracy on your gun, make sure you're hitting everything in its weak points, and it will definitely fall over with this. Also, with the consumables we're going to have on, it will even further enhance this, making for some really fun damage. Now, speaking of the consumables, absolutely amazing consumables on this guy, and one that you have to pretty much have is vulnerability assessment drone. This right here is going to give yourself and the rest of your team, for a minute and a half, it's going to give them 25% weapon range and damage. There is just no words for how good this is. If you're in those encounters where you're holding down a position and you know some big elites are going to be making their way towards you, pop one of these and they will swiftly pop straight afterwards as soon as they come up to you and realise you've got that shotgun on. Next up, and I would probably say for some of the later game, earlier game, chuck on whatever you want. For some of the later game, I've been finding Cryo Grid really helps to slow things down, giving your team a lot of chance to nuke things before they get to you. You don't want to be hit very hard at late game levels because those really tough elites hit like a truck. If you can nuke everything before it gets to you, that works out in your favour. If you didn't want this, I would say probably if you've got a technician, then I haven't even got one, but you'll want to do the flame version of this, the flame sentry gun. But that's only if you can keep it safe and behind, like I said, the technician's pulses on the floor. If you know it's not going to get absolutely devastated, it can work really well for taking down those bigger enemies. But overall, I've been finding Cryo Grid and the vulnerability drone best in slot overall. Jumping over to the Gunner Grid, and there's going to be a lot of you looking at this now and scratching your head because it is almost definitely different to anyone else's grid. I know you're probably supposed to completely spec into weapon damage, you're probably supposed to completely spec into weapon training of some sort, but I've been finding this works absolutely amazing when I've been testing it out. So what we've done, we've managed to get a bit of damage from other places, and we've managed to make our build really reliable on absolute boss nuke. So how have we done it? Well, just over here, if you'll have a look, we've got rapid deployment on the overclock. This gives us the increased charge rate of an ability by 20%. We want to be able to use our overclock a little more often. Ultimately, if we put a lot more into this, it would still work really well, but I've been finding this has worked perfect for those boss nuke situations, and I haven't needed to invest much more into it. If you feel you'd like to have it up for longer, or you would like to have a little bit more recharge time on it, then modify this graph to how you want. But this build is a very overall build for just absolute crazy damage and a lot of fun and taking on those tougher adds. Next over, and we've got quick load interlink. Overclock now instantly reloads your current gun on activation and also extends the 50% reload speed increase to your whole team. I really like this. Make sure you're taking some shots with your shotgun and then click this and you're going to get a lot of damage. I found what I tended to do was when those big guys was coming in, I had a cryo grid on the floor or a technician or someone just slowing it down a little bit so you could take a few medium shots, and then after that I'd click this, get my some reload and absolutely go to town with my shotty when it's closer range to us and taking that full damage. Jumping up to the top here, and we've got focus fire. Damaging a target causes them to take 2% more damage, and this effect stacks up to 5 times. Meaning with the shotty at close range you pretty much always got that 10% extra damage. Really nice, and again it just means things are going to fall over really fast when you use that overclock perk. This is just a really good all-round perk. It does take 4 slots, which is a bit of a nightmare, but I think it's definitely worth it. Anytime you can manage to boost your damage, pretty much take it whenever you can. Next over we've got suppressing fire. Now this one's up to you. I liked having this on, like I said, anytime I can make things easier for myself or the team and be able to make things stay away from me a little bit more, I was going to chuck it in. Now this gives us focus fire, now also slows the target 5% per stack. And as you saw over here, you can have that up to 5 times, meaning you can get 25% slow on the target. It's not the most amazing thing in the world, but I found it very helpful. If you didn't like it, you could swap something around and make it so you've got either a bit more recharge on this or a little bit more damage or something over here, or even radius or recharge. Completely up to you. I really liked having this on. Bopping down to here, we've got Smart Link Reliability Circuits. Overclock now also increases your team stability by 25% and increases your own aim assist by 50%. This is really good. Chuck it on, you're helping your team out as you go. It really is favourable late game to make sure your team is doing the business as well. This is only 2 slots, I definitely found it was worth having on. Jumping over to this, and just if you have this unlocked, make sure you put it on. Thermal venting. Overclock further increases your own fire rate by 25%. This is what makes you the absolute best single target damage dealer in the game. You were before this, now you are even more so. Honestly, nothing is better than popping that overclock and watching those big dudes absolutely melt like butter in front of you and just seeing those damage numbers pop through the roof. Jumping down here, and we've got down and out. You do 20% more damage to enemies that are stunned or knocked. When you're playing with a group, there is a very big chance that people are going to apply these statuses. But we've made it so that we get that ourselves, so when we do want this to proc, we definitely will have that, meaning we're going to have 20%, then we've got the 10 up here, and we're just going to be doing an absolute bundle of damage whenever we want to proc this. Jumping down, and we've got targets acquired. When you have full stacks of stay on target, your ability recharge speed is greatly increased. Just make sure you're using your guns properly, getting a lot of kills, and obviously you're going to be boosting this up mainly through using your Kramer. If you want to know what staying on target is dealing damage, grants you bonus damage stacks. Stacks fall off when you stop dealing damage. Again, bonus damage stacks, you've got damage coming out of your ears now. It's the main reason I've managed to pull away from actually putting in the trainings into the grid, because I felt this didn't really warrant it, and this was a more well-rounded build when I used it. Jumping over to here, and we've got mobility. Grants you 10% movement speed, a 20% stun recovery, and increases the duration of stay on target by 50%. The others are really nice, I must admit, but the main thing we're going for is the increased duration of stay on target by 50%. That's going to help both of these. It's going to make sure you've got more damage at all times. Chuck this on, you definitely won't regret. Jumping up one, and we've got enhanced reach 2. That links exactly over to this one, which is our frag grenade, which we have changed into disorientating blast. Your grenade now also knocks down all affected targets. Obviously it's got a tiny bit more reach. It's not the best in the world. I would like it to be a little bit larger radius if I could have fit it in there. Unfortunately I couldn't. But whatever you aim for, as long as you're getting used to your grenades, you're going to knock them down. And most times it's going to be those armor targets, it's going to be those drones, it's going to be any of the big elites you want to knock down before they get to you or before they manage to hit any of your team. Now that you've done that as well, don't forget you've procced this down and out. You're going to deal 20% more damage to enemies that are stunned or knocked. So you've got that 20% activating on any big baddie. Just up here as well, we've chucked on shrapnel. Your grenade now causes targets to bleed, taking an additional 50% of the blast damage over 10 seconds. Frag grenade as standard does an absolute bundle of damage. It really does. I am going to make a build later on that specs into frag grenade because I think it will be a lot of fun, a lot of air effect, a lot of damage. I think this could be a really nice build, but at the moment the way this is set out, it means that if you've got any of those big guys coming towards you, before you pop this, you're going to pop your grenade, you're going to make sure you hit them with it, you're going to make sure they fall over, then you're going to make sure you've got overclock on, and then all of your damage is going to kick in. Really nice, really fun, and while that's going on, they're going to be getting a lot of that and have blast damage over 10 seconds. Honestly, nothing survives. Nothing survives. If you're doing this right, especially if you're using a vulnerability drone, all of those big guys absolutely melt like butter, and it's a lot of fun to play. And that's just mainly using that at close range. Swapping over to your Kramer, you're gonna get a lot of nice consistent damage anyway. It's a really nice fun gun to use, and it just manages to get a lot of damage without you even trying, by mowing things down nice and easy. Well, you gamers, like I said, I really enjoyed this build. It's probably a little bit out there compared to a lot of builds. I'm sure everyone has focused completely on doing the training and such for the guns, but I found this worked really well and just helped the team out, helped myself out, and was a lot of fun to use. If you did want to spec a little bit more into the overclock, give it a little bit more recharge, or make it last a little bit longer, then take out one or two of the perks that you don't enjoy or that you think can jump out. But I found this really well rounded and just a lot of fun to use. As always, guys and girls, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care. I'll see you on the next day.